So, hi everybody. This is going to be the first video in the series of Women in STEM interviews. So our first guest will be Wana Hussein. Feel free to introduce yourself, Wana. Like, what do you do? What's your job? Like, and what's your background? What do you study in high school? Yeah, please take the floor.
Cool, thanks, Trevor. So my job right now is being a data scientist within quantitative analytics, fraud and surveillance within Barclays. That's a
Oh,
really
okay.
big mouthful.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot of words.
as a quantitative analytics, fraud and surveillance data scientist, their whole idea is being able to take large amounts of data, complex data, and find insights. Being able to interpret that data, analyze it, extract it, collect it. Really, it's just playing around with data, manipulation of that data and being able to get insights. So being in the fraud team basically means I'm trying to figure out data insights as to why people commit fraud. How to
Mm,
make sure that we know an account is fraudulent, people are not, going against money laundering, all this sort of things. We want to not let the bank lose money. So I'm currently working on finding out accounts that trying to create a machine learning model that actually predicts when an account is going to become fraudulent in
mhm.
advance so that they actually don't end up spending that money to pay someone back before that actual incident occurs, which is really cool because you'll find out that lots of different people have different tricks and we're able to get that insight through data.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so my background is in electronic and computer engineering at Imperial College London, where I just finished my master's in 2019.
Mhm.
And before that, I had my A levels in Kenya, where I primarily focused on STEM subjects. So that's maths, further maths, physics, and chemistry.
Wow. Everyone who's done A levels or like something similar to that knows how difficult maths is, especially part of maths. So like to do all both of those and like on top of it all, electrical engineering masters, like yeah, that's
Yeah.
insane. Thank you very much for like volunteering your time for this.
Very happy to do so.
Yeah. So on to like the discussion points. Like, at what point did you start getting interested in subjects? Like, when was it either in high school or like primary school? Did you ever get to the point of like STEM is it like which is what you actually enjoyed putting your time into is what you're willing to like suffer for?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, this is, I think, the last time someone asked me this question was when I was applying to uni. They're
Mhm.
like, why this course? And I remember the answer because it's quite silly. The first time I actually wanted to go into STEM was because I watched Iron Man for the first time. So I can't remember how old I
Oh
was.
wow, yeah.
I was probably like, I don't know, 13, 12, somewhere around there. And I watched Iron Man 1 and I thought, one, why is it Iron Man? What about Iron Woman? And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, I want to be the female version of that. So I got a notebook out and I said, you know what? What did Iron Man do to become Iron Man? He went to MIT, he did computer science, and he came
Mhm.
up with a really bomb ass technology company. I said, that's it. That's what I'm doing now. So it was just a matter of figuring out how do I get to MIT? How do I get into computer science? And then how do I get a tech company? How do I, do that? So that's pretty much what started it all. That was the spark. And since then, that's what I've been geared towards. And I just did, STEM subjects that would lead towards a computer science degree and pretty much leading up to being Iron Woman. I'm not Iron Woman yet, but, we're
It's in
getting
the
there.
process. It is in the process.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great to hear. Like
Yeah,
literally lots of like just stopping and thinking like what do I want to do and like what's actually interested me.
exactly.
So like there's a stereotype that goes around quite a lot about how like engineering and like STEM is really more of a man's field, just in terms of I don't know, just culture, and I think that's how things have been in the past. Like
Yeah.
I'm studying aerospace engineering right now, and I can tell you in my own course, there's only about like 11 girls and like 90 guys. So like
Wow.
the disparity is quite obvious there. So like,
Yeah.
did you ever feel like as a woman during the time of your degree or like during your time in work right now, did you ever feel like underrepresented, and like was that ever an issue?
I 100% think I felt underrepresented at a course level and also currently when I'm working. It's just as you said, the way it is within this field in STEM and technology at the moment, but it is something that is changing. And you feel underrepresented on two levels because there's like a gender layer and there's also the race layer. So in my course, there were 70 guys and 4 girls, and out of those 4 girls, I was the only girl. And out of the 70 people in that class, I was the only Black person. So you don't tend to see people like yourself doing computer engineering who are female, who are Black. And you're like, is this for me? Do I fit in? Am I meant to be here? there's a lot of imposter syndrome, and that's where the issue comes in when when you're underrepresented, when you don't see more people who look like yourself doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so it makes you feel like it's not meant for you, it's meant for men, it's meant for other types of people, but it is meant for you because that's where your interest and your passion lies. So I think I had a lot of growing up in terms of my self-confidence to make
All right.
sure that I could succeed in that place, especially if there wasn't enough, society wasn't speaking to me saying this is for you, because I could clearly not see people who look like me. Once you get over that hump of and believing of yourself, having self-confidence, then you realize that it is meant for you. There's no difference between you and a man or you different races. It's just where your interest lies and you're able to accomplish anything you're putting your mind to.
Okay. Glad to hear that. It sounds like you're just more of like a mental barrier in terms of just like you doubting yourself, looking around, not seeing somebody similar to you. Then you thought like, oh, I don't really belong here. But like in reality, you do. There's no one gatekeeping it. There's no one saying that you can't do it. Like if you're capable, you're capable. That's just how it is.
Exactly. And I think you also have to have a bit of a rebellious attitude, because I think, as you said, society, culture, tradition, religion, all these different constructs tend to play a role in saying, as a woman, this may not be for you. As a Black woman, this may not be for you. Or they'll say, actually, this is where you're meant to be, So I think you've got to be able to be so confident in yourself and also rebellious to say, I'm going to show you that it's meant for me. I'm going to show you that even if you don't think that, or even if society isn't supporting me here, I can do it regardless, because you won't find obvious support in general. And it's just good to have people that you surround yourself that support where you want to go, because society is going to tell you different.
Okay, that's great. Like there's just like a degree of self-belief you need to have.
Yes.
See, like this applies across the board. Like when you're going from being, especially like just a normal high school student to being like university or like the real world, you just need to be able to like believe that, okay, I can do it. Like just because you say I can't doesn't mean I can't do it. So we're really glad to hear that that's like any issues, like in terms of like genuine issues about you being a woman during your course or during your work. So like, so last part of our discussion points would be like, do you
Yeah.
have any like words of advice, like any specific pointers you would have for something that's like either considering going into like doing data science or like just doing like STEM in general? So as like a young girl in high school, what would you say would be like the smartest thing to do right now in terms of just like actual effort or just like mentally?
I think people is a big factor, because I wouldn't be here without, let's say, having a very strong mom who pushed me into technology, who took me for those summer camps where I learned how to program and made sure that I did all these different things in science fairs. And and when I wanted to actually not take physics in A level, say you're going to take physics. So I think surrounding yourself with very supportive structures, whether it's a mentor, a friend, a parent, a teacher, that's
Yeah.
important, because that's the person who's going to keep you going when you're doubting yourself, when society is like, why are you doing this? That's what's going to keep you going. So to have a very strong support system is one thing I think you need to have. The second thing is be able to have self-drive, self-motivation, because no one's going to give this, or no one's going to be able to get you to that STEM area but yourself. So
Yeah.
follow your drive, follow your passion. That means, going to do extra YouTube lessons, going to Khan Academy, going to Code Academy. There's so many resources online, which I harnessed when I was in high school, which has put me where I am today. So I was able to learn Python when I was in high school, preparing for uni. I was able to learn all types of cool physics and chemistry tricks when I was from YouTube. So I think you can do anything you want to at this point in time. The way the technology is absolutely pervasive. You've got YouTube, you've got online resources, you've got courses. So I say leverage that 100%. So yeah, leverage online resources, have a strong support system, and follow your drive and motivation, because I think you said it, that self, you can get yourself, like, without that self-confidence, I don't know, I've actually messed up, but basically, I don't know how to say it, but only you can do it, right? And you just have to believe in
Yeah.
yourself, and then you'll get it done. So yeah, just have that drive.
Yeah, like honestly, like nobody gives it, nothing's handed out to you. Like nothing of great
Yeah.
significance will ever be handed out to you, whether it's in STEM, business, medicine, anything like that. Because even once I got to my course, it's
Yeah.
still a lot of work. Even once you get into the degree, even once
Yeah.
you get the job, you still have a lot of work to do, like in order to like get to
Yeah.
the next level. So yeah, like you really summarized it well. Thank
Yeah,
you so much for coming through, taking
of
some of your free time out to come and do this.
course.
Yeah, hopefully, whoever sees this, will become like a data scientist later on, or just like get into engineering or anything like that. So yes,
Yeah,
big thank you, Mana, and have a lovely evening.
definitely. Thank you, Trevor, for having me.
All right.